This is Gaurav Mathur, the CEO and founder of SafeGold, which is Asia's largest gold trading platform. And so, Gaurav, you have been a banker in London, an equity investor in Singapore, and now you're a fintech founder. And so, can you give us a brief description of these job profiles?
Yeah, sure. In a bank, which was my first job, I worked in the global markets division, which is sales and trading on the trading floor, and that is what I would call it's a very fast-paced job. As in, you go in the morning, you show up early at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:38. You're on your desk, and you're on one of the desks which has three or four screens. You're analyzing a lot of information, taking very quick decisions, essentially on positions which you want to buy or sell if you're a trader. And the good thing is when you leave at 5 or 6 in the evening, you don't really carry a lot of work home with you. You may look at how the markets have moved, do your position, are making money or not, but it's very intense while you're on the job. You're making very quick decisions. You don't need a very long attention span, and it's a very fast-paced environment. So that is one type of job in a bank. Um, the I think what I wanted to do was to do a little more, analytical, long-term focus kind of thing, meeting more people, because this is essentially the same bunch of people that you go in with on your desk that you work with. They're the people that you pretty much meet through the year. I was keen on meeting like a wider variety of people. So I moved over to the private equity side, investing when I moved to Singapore. And as a private equity investor, it's almost the exact opposite of the first job, which is sales and trading. It's closer to investment banking or corporate finance in a bank, where your job is to meet a ton of companies, and you typically specialize in sectors. So you look at financial services or you look at consumer goods. So if you look at Indian consumer goods, then you'd go and meet all the companies like Marico and Hindustan Lever and Procter and Gamble, and like that. There'll be maybe 200 companies in the consumer sector. Your job would be to meet all of them, understand those industries, what drives them deeply, and then you're looking for new investment opportunities. So then you look for the smaller companies in that sector, like Mamaearth was, a few years ago, or Epigamia, all these other small consumer brands that have come up in India. All of them have been backed by private equity, Sula Wines, all of them. And you would have to have the skill to assess which of these companies is going to make it and which will not. So you'll meet 100 companies. Of those 100, probably 70, 80 are not going to make it, but 20, 30 will. And your job is to then assess which of those 20, 30 will. And also you need to build the relationships so those companies come to you, because you don't advertise like, if you want to sell credit cards from a bank, you run ads saying, come get a credit card. But if you want to invest in private equity, you don't run ads and companies come to you. You need to go out and meet them and find them and figure out what you do. So that is what you do as a private equity investor. And it's a deep long-term work. You need to have long attention spans, keep focused on things, as opposed to trading, my first job, which you need a very short attention span. Things change very quickly. Actually, I did that and I retired, and I kind of, after my equity investing career, I did work for a few years. I got a pilot's license. I learned how to sail, scuba dive, all the stuff that you want to do, but you never have time to do when you're studying and looking for a job. Then I also got bored of that after some time. And that's when I became a fintech founder, which was sort of essentially more something that I was more interested in. And as a founder of a startup, I think what I tell people is you do everything from being a chairman of a company to being a chaprasi. So when you start, it's just you, right? On the first day, you may have one or two partners, but then you literally have to go down to the neighborhood shop and get those rubber stamps made, and get decks printed and all of that other stuff, which is really, really menial stuff. And then you do all the strategy and fundraising and all the stuff, which is senior level stuff. Then obviously, as the business grows, you do different things. And all the menial stuff, you get people who will take care of it, or you build a bigger team, and then you can focus on the more strategic issues. But in the beginning, I don't know whether it's 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, you need to be prepared to do the entire length and breadth of things.
So, when you're hiring for a fintech, for your fintech company, what do you look for in a candidate?
So again, it's different roles, right? So when you hire product people who define what your product looks like, and do the design and the customer journeys and things like that, Then you're looking for creativity, people with empathy of customers, people who can really put themselves in the shoes of the customer. You also, in fintech especially, there's a big compliance angle where you need to comply with a lot of laws and regulations, and you have regulated entities. And then you're looking for people with huge attention to detail who will make sure that you're compliant with all the laws. In On your tech team, which is the people who are actually developing the technology, you look for problem solving skills, which become more important because you run into issues and you need to have solutions to them. So it varies there, and you have marketing teams and you have business teams. So business development, you need great relationship skills to go out and get partnerships done. So the skills that are critical vary depending on the nature of the job that you have.